The beginning of organizational psychology. Organizational psychology had its origins in the early 20th century, sometimes referred to as industrial psychology. Organizational psychology is concerned with now how human works and interact with various jobs and organizations. It was only later in the century that the field of organizational psychology developed as an experimental science. Unlike most other academic fields, business leaders immediately understood how research into worker psychology and productivity could have a positive impact on both the workers' well-being and the company's profit margins. Leading organizational psychologists of the early 90s soon found themselves outside of the classroom and into the factories conducting research. From 1929 to 1932, Elton Mayo (1880 to 1949) and his colleagues began a series of studies at a plant near Chicago Western Electric's Hawthorne Works. This long-term project took industrial psychology beyond just employee selection and placement to a study of more complex problems into interpersonal relations, motivation, and organizational dynamics. These studies marked the origin of organizational psychology. Analysis of the findings by later researchers led to the term the Hawthorne effect, which describes the increase in performance of individuals who are noticed, watched, and paid attention to by the researchers or supervisors. What the origin researchers found was that any change in a variable, such lighting levels, led to an improvement in productivity. This was true even when the change was negative, such as the return to poor lighting. The effect faded when the attention faded. The Hawthorne effect concept endures today as an important experimental consideration in many fields and a factor that has to be controlled for in an experiment. Frederick Taylor was an engineer who saw that if one could redesign the workplace, there would be an increase in both output for the company and wages for the workers. In 1911, he put forward his theory in a book titled The Principle of Scientific Management. His book examines management style, personnel selection, and training, as well as the work itself using time and motion studies. One of the examples of Taylor's theory in action involved workers handling heavy iron ingots, which is a block of heavy steel, gold, silver, and other metal. Taylor showed that the workers could be more productive by taking work rests. This method of rest increased worker productivity from 12.5 to 47.0 tons moved per day with less reported fatigue, as well as increased wages for the workers who were paid by the ton. At the same time, the company's cost was reduced from 9.2 cents to 3.9 cents per ton. Despite these increases in productivity, Taylor's theory received a great deal of criticism at the time because it was believed that it would exploit workers and reduce the number of workers needed. Also, Taylor's theory was underpinned by the notion that a worker was fundamentally lazy, and the goal of Taylor's scientific management approach was to maximize productivity without much concern for workers' well-being. His approach was criticized by unions and those sympathetic to workers. Gilbert was another influential industrial and organizational psychologist who strove to find ways to increase productivity. Using time and motion studies, Gilbert wanted to make workers more efficient by reducing the number of motion required to perform a task. She not only applied these methods to industry but also to the home, office, shop, and other areas. She investigated employee fatigue and time management stress and found many employees were motivated by money and job satisfaction. In 1914, Gilbert wrote the book The Psychology of Management, the function of the mind in determining, teaching, and installing methods of least waste, and she is known as the mother of modern management. You can thank her for the idea to put shelves inside refrigerator doors, and also she came up with the concept of using a foot pedal to operate the lid of trash can. Today, industrial and organizational psychology is a diverse and deep field of research and practice. Psychologists in this particular field of study are sought after by business and large corporations looking to gain insight on the psychology of their staff in order to create an effective working environment. Source OpenStack 2019. What is industrial and organizational psychology? Question number 1. What does the author say about organizational psychology in the first paragraph? The answer is C. Business leaders believe this research could improve employees' health and company gains. Question number 2. Which of the following is not mentioned about Mayo studies in paragraph 2? The answer is C. Their findings led to the discovery of organizational psychology in the workplace. Question number 3. Which of the following best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence in paragraph 3? Incorrect choices can change the meaning in important ways or leave out essential information. The answer is B. Any change, positive or negative, resulted in increases productivity. Question number 4. The word endures in the third paragraph is closest in meaning to. The answer is A. Continues. Question number 5. In paragraph 4, what does the author point out about Frederick Taylor? The answer is D. He was an engineer who wrote about management in the workplace. Question number 6. What can be inferred from paragraph 5 about the workers in Taylor's theory? The answer is A. Workers were more tired on the job prior to implementing work rest. Question number 7. In paragraph 5, the author mentioned, despite this increase in productivity in order to. The answer is D. State that there were more concerns besides just an increase in the worker output. Question number 8. According to paragraph 6, which best describes Gilbert? The answer is D. She is sometimes referred to as a mother of modern management. Question number 9. Look at the 4 squares A, B, C, D that indicate where the following sentence could be added to the passage. Her contribution to increase efficiency can still be found in modern homes today. Where would the sentence best fit? The answer is C. In 1914, Gilbert wrote the book The Psychology of Management, The Function of the Mind in Determining Teaching and Installing Methods of Least Waste. She is known as the mother of modern management. Question number 10. Direction. An introductory sentence for a brief summary of the passage is provided below. Complete the summary by selecting the 3 answer choices that expresses the most important ideas in the passage. Some sentences do not belong in the summary because they are expresses ideas that are not presented in the passage or are minor ideas in the passage. This question is worth 2 points. There have been many contributions to organizational psychology over the past century. The answer is A. Gilbert worked to reduce motion in a task in order to make people more efficient in their jobs. D. The studies done by Elton Mayo led to the discovery of the Hawthorne effect. F. Frederick Taylor theories contributed to a better understanding of how to improve productivity.